Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Yak-3U sitting at 5.3 in the Soviet line. What a plane, what a plane. I mean, the Russian Yaks as they progress towards rank 4 are getting better and better and better. The engine in this thing is awesome and you get a lot better performance on the higher altitudes. That is one, but it is an excellent energy fighter. I mean, we already had the Yak-3U, which also is absolutely stunning at 4.3 battle rating with the same engine as the VK107. This one has a radial engine, so it's slightly different, but it's still a slightly more powerful engine in the end. And this is 5.3 battle rating, of course. But you have much better speed in the Yak-3U in the straight line. We still have the same Yak downsides. I mean, the Yak-9U was better in a dive, better than the Yak-3U as well. But Yak-3U in the vertical, in the energy retention, acceleration, climb rate, and high altitude performance in a straight line. The speed is also awesome. Now this doesn't make this plane a boom and zoomer, but because of course the dive speed is just not good, but it is very possible to energy fight at the higher altitudes. And you see us having a fight later on against that Ki-84 there. Ki-84 being one of the best energy fighters on higher altitudes out there, and the Yak-3 can definitely compete, which is now to the statistics on this plane. The maximum speed at sea level without WEP is 595, almost 600 kilometers an hour. With WEP, 617 kilometers an hour. Also, always nice when you get a plane that can go over 600 kilometers an hour on the deck. At 4,500 meters, still go up to 524 kilometers an hour without WEP and 525 with. This is almost no difference. The WEP stops functioning really above 4,000 meters. But using WEP, I could still get a kilometer out of there. Not sure if that was just my my testing. Maybe it was 525 on both accounts. At least at 6,500 meters I got to 488 without WEP, and I could not get anything more out of it with WEP. WEP really being dead at that altitude, but already dead at 4,500. And it becomes grey at 4,000 meters, so it doesn't work there in practical sense. These speeds are awesome. This is a fast plane. At the battle rating and in up tiers it is not slow either. It is still a fast plane there. So yeah, you have a competition in this plane from Corsairs and from some of the top planes out there, twin Mustangs, that kind of stuff. Mustangs can go quite fast as well. But the Yak-3U is just faster than most of the German planes. Unfortunately, you fly together with the Germans these days, so that doesn't really matter. Of course, you have mixed battles as well, so you will face 109s as well. Sometimes, but it's not like it used to be where you face the Germans all of the time, because then you would be a top performer in the speed with the competition. So yeah, and you're faster than most of the Japanese planes as well. But this one over here, that is a competitor. That is such a great plane. I reviewed it a while back, but Ki-84s are awesome, and well, this is a nice matchup actually. Actually, a very nice matchup together with these two planes. It could give you some very nice confrontations, some very nice extended energy fights if you're not interrupted by somebody else. These two planes are awesome at this altitude. Now the control stiffening in we're going to the top speed in a dive. So straight line speeds, maximum speeds, fantastic, lovely. Now we go to a dive. We have a red line in this plane at 665 kilometers an hour, which is of course early days, and then we have a speed at 720, 730. So you have a window there of about 70 kilometers an hour. That's not a lot in this plane, as the acceleration in this plane with the engine power the plane has is excellent, both in a straight line and in a dive. You're gonna reach 665 when you're still in the dive to 730. It's in no time you're there. So be very aware. This is already in the Yak line. You probably have learned this already, but be aware in a dive that you're in danger of ripping. Such a rookie mistake that you still see a lot of yaks in a dive, being lured into a dive and then ripping. Don't do that. Control stiffening in this plane starts at 450 kilometers an hour in the roll rate, and then 600 you have a big one where it really becomes bad with the compression. The elevator stays functional even after 600. At 650 you might notice a little bit of compression in the elevator control, but it's not too bad. So you can get out of that dive in the higher speeds, but you just gotta be aware that once you hit that red line, you gotta throttle down and get out of your dive ASAP, because you don't have a big window. Stall speed in the plane is 135, which is alright. Nothing terrible. It's good. It's good. Firepower in the plane is decent. You have two 20mm B-20S cannons with 120 rounds per gun. Usually at a 5.3 battle rating you do get planes with 3 or 4 cannons possibly on the plane. Some have more, some have machine guns added to that. So this one doesn't have any machine guns. There's usually combinations. And this plane just has 2, so it is decent firepower when you look at the Soviet tree, but overall when you look at all the trees I would call the firepower on this plane below average, as you just do not have that many guns. And the ammo also isn't awesome. It's average for the Soviet line, but 120 rounds for 20mm. If you look at other nations, it's really again below average. I use tracer belts on these guns with fragmentation incendiary shells. That worked quite fine to me, but I have used ground and universal belt on other yaks, and they are mixed belts with both API rounds and the FIT rounds, and then the HEF rounds, and they work quite well as well. And if you want armor piercing rounds, you can go for the armored belt. If you want stealth, stealth has the most high explosive fillers. Yeah, stealth, and you also have the surprise factor with stealth. So usually for air-to-air tracers, universal, ground targets and stealth are the way to go. And if you want to go ground pounding with AP rounds, then you go for the armored targets. So yeah, that's for the belts. There is no bombs on this plane, no ordnance at all. So you cannot go ground pounding. This is pretty much straightforward air-to-air plane fighter. No close air support role in this plane. So the acceleration already went into that. Excellent, both in a straight line and in a dive. Energy retention is also excellent in a horizontal and in the vertical. In a vertical it might actually be fan-freaking-tastic, because it's just man, such a difference with how far the plane will take you up from maximum straight line speed. It is amazing. Yeah, so, and we have the climb rate, which is also fantastic. This is really one of the best climbers. One of the best climbers at the battle rating. Maybe the best. This is one of the few planes that consistently runs over 30-degree angle. I would run it between 280 and 300. Seems to be a very good speed to climb at. Very efficient. Usually end up above pretty much everything in the enemy team. Except maybe some exceptions there, like a twin Mustang that starts with an air start and also has very good climb rate. But this plane is awesome in the pure climb rate. Turn time in the plane is one of the weaker sides. It's above average, decent with flaps. The flaps are horrible when it comes to ripping them. 290 kilometers an hour, just about 280 to 300 is the window, I think. But it is absolutely terrible. It's worse than on some of the other yaks, even 100 kilometers an hour worse on some. Absolutely terrible. 280, 290. I mean, that even on the top of your dive with the energy retention and the acceleration in this plane, you're usually very difficult, unless you make a really high loop, to get below 300 in this plane. Using the flaps is high risk in this plane. Don't use them except maybe on the very top of your loops, when you know you're very, very slow, because you can rip them off in an instant. It's just it's just terrible. The rip speed on the flaps on this thing. Roll rate on this on the plane is decent. I would call the overall maneuverability also decent. Nothing terrible, but it's definitely not a turn fighter or a plane very good at maneuvering. It's not bad at all. As I said, it's decent, and you can definitely take it to some of the boom and zoomers and energy fighters out there. But if you see something that is really the dedicated turn fighter, you want to stay away from it and stay to energy fighting. That's what you usually should do in this plane. Overheating in this plane is not an issue, even with web. You can of course overheat it with web. Extended web climbs and stuff will overheat the plane eventually, but overheating is not an issue. It cools off fairly quickly as well. So, alright, durability in the plane is good. It can take a hit or two. Seems to be very sturdy, good solid plane. I have not noticed any particular fires or difficulties. It has an armored plate behind the pilot in the seat, and armored glass behind the head of the pilot. There is no forward-facing armored plate, unfortunately, but still, it's a decent plane. When it comes to durability and survivability, repair costs in this plane is 14,016 Silver Lions. For a full repair, this is on the expensive side, I have to say. Usually the average lies around 11,000, I would say. There's a few planes that are more expensive in the repair cost, but many of them are also around 8 or 9,000 at 5.3. And some are the same. So this is on the expensive side of things when it comes to repair costs. But the plane is just so good. I mean, I wouldn't shed a tear on it. It is very difficult. It's very easy to make Silver Lions and research points with this thing. It's a very good earner because of the performance. But what is the role that you want to perform in this plane? This is an energy fighter, and it is a superb energy fighter. It's one of the best, one of the top tier energy fighters at 5.3 battle rating. I would put my hand in the fire for that. Of course, it is also about how you pilot the plane, but the plane itself will not be the problem in the energy fighting role. And in vertical maneuvers, awesomeness, just plain awesomeness. It's an awesome plane. I can't say otherwise. This thing, it is just a beast. And the straight line speeds at altitude are a surprise factor from here to Tokyo, basically, because many people still don't expect it from yaks, and they think they can easily take you on, some Thunderbolts, some Mustangs at the higher altitudes. They do not expect such competition there in a straight line from a yak. Of course, the more experienced pilots will know this, but yeah, if you see a Yak-3 at altitude, be very careful how you approach it if you don't have a clear energy advantage, because it's gonna eat you alive. Hey, you almost got me there. I'm quite happy with just a hit on my left wing there. Should have kept the wing more straight maybe, because I pulled it up a little bit getting into his guns, but so semi mistake from my side maybe, but I thought I would get out of the way with that move. But no, I put my wing into his shot. Very nice move from him. Very good pilot. I really thoroughly enjoyed this fight, where he came from an energy superior advantage, and he took me and my squad mate on, both in Yak-3Us, and he gave us a run for our money. Sky-84 is such a fantastic plane, man. And that fight was just very enjoyable, and he gave me the GG Jengar. You gave a great fight there, man. Well played in the Kai-84, and with a little bit more luck, you would have taken off my wing there, and you could have taken on my my teammate one-on-one. So yeah, that was very interesting engagement there, and that's what's so nice in the Yak-3U. You can take on the best performance at the battle rating, like Kai-84, which is also one of the best energy fighters at this battle rating. And I'm not sure which version it was. I didn't quite check what was what, but the plane, that's just a plane as well. Lovely. But yeah, I mean, what have you got to be afraid of in this plane? You've got a few high climbers out there. I saw twin Mustangs above me a few times. For example, something like a Hornet at 5.7 could be above you with the air start. They get an air start still, right? Yeah, I think so. I reviewed a Hornet not too long ago. Actually, half forgot it, but I think I remember an air start. If it doesn't get an air start, the Hornet is one of the climbers, one of those exceptional climbers as well, just like this plane. And it's often one of the highest planes out there. There's only a few that will outclimb you, and there's also only a few planes that can best you in the energy fighting role, in the performance, and that is something that is of course a very definitive advantage in this plane that you have. So yeah, there is not, of course in the turn fighting, you don't want to end up in turn fighting, but zeros are always a risk there, of course, and Spitfires, most Spitfires. Not all, because there is a few Spitfires. That's sometimes a mistake that newer people to the Spitfire line make, that they think, hey, I'm in a Spitfire, I can outturn everything. But there is some energy fighting models of the Spitfire out there that are more energy fighters than turn fighters, and yeah, you don't want to mistake them for an LF9 because those things will definitely outturn this plane, but some of the Griffon Spitfires will have a more difficult time. So yeah, but the straight line speeds in this plane are a definite thing that very difficult for people to deal with, especially on the higher altitudes, which you may not expect from a Yak. Okay, we've got Terror of the Sky, Bulletproof, 16,000 research points. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. A Yak-3U, one of the better Yaks out there. I mean, battle rating wise, I am mixed between this one and the Yak-9U, which is also an awesome plane with the VK107 engine. Brilliant plane. So I'm mixed between these two, the Yak-3U or the Yak-9U, both two exceptional planes at their battle rating. Maybe the Yak-9U still takes the crown because it is one full battle rating lower with performance that is not equal but quite similar. Yeah, it's just awesome planes to fly. The top tier of the Yak, it's the excellence of the Yaks comes out in these two planes. And I love them. The Yak-3U is definitely a plane you have to experience if you want to visit the Soviet 3. And superb energy fighting in this plane. As I said, one of the best at its battle rating. And yeah, I would go and I would get it and I would experience it. You also already get a pre-taste with the Yak-9U, which has the inline engine, and this one has radial engine, which is awesome. So guys, I have nothing more to say. I think I've said it all in that almost 18 minutes. This is an exceptional fighter, fantastic in the energy fighting, and go and fly it and have some fun. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.